what's up and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to be giving a review for the movie Halloween. Now this is not to be confused with the original 1978 horror film or the 2007 Rob Zombie film, which a lot of people despise, This is actually like a straight up follow-up to the original Halloween, from 1978, and that is actually my all-time favorite horror film, and actually my all-time favorite movie period, It's my copy right here on a 4K. Now this film is actually picking up, and I'm gonna try to be spoiler free, so I won't spoil the film. But it does pick up after the events of actually the original film. So like I said before, none of the films in the series happened, but only the original 1978 film happened. Now this is also directed by David Gordon Green, and you also have Jamie Lee Curtis returning to the role of Laurie Strode. Now you also have John Carpenter on board as executive producer, and he actually composed the music score for the film too as well. So that's one of the big bonuses of the film. Besides Jamie Lee Curtis returning again, for Laurie Strode. So that's one of the big pluses of seeing this film, And you also had the original Michael Myers as Shape, Nick Castle. He actually returned. So from what I'm hearing, his actual scene in the film is actually like a cameo, So he didn't make like a full-fledged performance in the film. You actually have James Jude Court, and he's actually like Michael Myers or the Shape for most of the film itself, Now this film, like I say, apparently, like if you haven't seen the original one, this is kind of going to like spoiler territory. Like Michael Myers, he actually had what's called, some kind of way, and I ain't gonna touch on it too much, and he actually is like locked back up into like the Smith's Grove Sanitarium, and he's been there for like 40 years since the events of what happened in 1978, So these two reporters, they come to to interview him, and I think they're like British or something like that, They actually come to actually interview him, and get like a word out of him, but apparently, he still doesn't talk, and they even show him his mask and so on, the mask that he originally wore in the previous film from 1970, which I think is kind of cool that they kept that touch, I'll touch on that in the review. They actually try to interview him, but they really can't get like anything out of him, so they leave. But then somehow and they're doing this right before Michael Myers is supposed to be transferred to like another prison, But I think he will spend the rest of his life. Cause I think in this film he's like in his 60s, And it's during when this happened, that's when he actually manages to escape some kind of way, and he returns to Hatfield and goes back on another killing spree, So I thought that was kind of cool, the way they did that. Now Laurie Strode, and she's played by Jamie Lee Curtis. Her character she has like two daughters in the film. She has like a daughter and a granddaughter. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But her actual daughter was actually taken from her. Now at first, the role of Laurie Strode, it is kind of different the way Jamie Lee Curtis is playing the character, but she does seem kind of similar to like the H2O at first, because she's like traumatized, and of course she's been damaged from escaping like this killer from like 40 years ago, So it kind of reminds you of like H2O to a certain extent, but it is a completely like different like character, the way she plays it. Now her daughter, is played by Judy Greer, and her daughter is known as Karen, and she's played by Judy Greer, and she also has a granddaughter known as Allison, who is played by I think Annie Matichak. I think that's how you pronounce it. So they actually are the two other stars of the film, big stars of the film, I guess, big characters of the film, besides Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie Strode. Now you also have Will Patton as Frank Hawkins, and he's like a police officer who was actually supposed to there back in 1978 when they actually caught Michael Myers, and so on, He's in this film to actually help Laurie track down Michael and find out where he's at, Now you also have another character in the film who was pretty interesting at first. He is played by, I think, Halleck Wagner, I think that's how you pronounce it. And the character is known as Dr. I think Rainbow Sartan, I think that's how you pronounce it. And he's actually a Michael Myers psychiatrist in the film. So he's very similar to the role of Dr. Loomis that Donald Pleasence played throughout the series. He's like very similar to Michael Madara played like in the Rob Zombie films. He's very similar to that character. He's like, you can definitely tell this is supposed to be kind of like Dr. Loomis, but it's not him, Now his character was kind of interesting at first, but then there's like a moment in the film. And I know that David Gordon Green, the director of the film, he actually was saying that he was going to actually take elements from every film in the series, and basically give like a shout out to each film, There was like a moment with this character in the film, like this doctor, Michael Myers psychiatrist, that just kind of almost ruined the film, I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm glad it didn't last too long, with what they did with it, but almost completely like ruined the film, If they would have kept going with what they did with him, I thought the film would have been like, it probably ruined it, But overall, I thought the direction by David Gordon Green, I thought he did a good job on the direction of the film. I like that there are like a lot of nods to like the other films like in the series, you know. And like the look of the film, it has like a very serious, like dramatic tone to it, which is kind of good too. And it's like straight up horror, you know. But I feel like it's something could almost be like but it's really not like Oscar worth there sometimes, you know. But it's not, you know. So I think that was kind of cool. They kept that element, you know. And I think Michael Myers in the film was pretty awesome too as well. I think James Jude Courtney, and I know they said Nick Castle did like a cameo scene or something like that. I thought he was like awesome in this film. Like it really felt like the, you know, like the Michael Myers that we really know. You know, I think they did a good job, and I love how they did the mask. You know, because the mask that he is wearing in this film, it's actually supposed to be like the original mask from like the first like Halloween film from 1978, but aged 40 years later. So that's why it looks like it's aged and all that. So I think that's kind of cool. Plus, you could tell it's kind of element that they was taken from, I think, from like the Rob Zombie film, where in that particular film, like his mask was like damaged and so on, you know. So I think that was one of the nods they were giving to that, you know. So I thought that was kind of cool. And like John Carpenter, like his musical score, it didn't really stand out to me that much, you know. But it was like certain times where it did sound cool and awesome. You can definitely tell that it was John Carpenter's music, you know. But it didn't really, you know, it didn't really stand out to me. If I watch it again, I'd probably pay attention to it a little more now, and actually probably like it even more, you know. Now I'm gonna touch on this film, you know, I'm gonna touch on like a lot of things about it. I'm even thinking about giving like a spoiler review for it, but I'm not too sure if I'm gonna do that or not, you know. But in other words, this film does take place like 40 years after the events of the original film, you know, 1978 film. So it makes it seem like none of the other films like in the series happened at all. Like Part 2 from like 1981 and on all the way to, I guess you could say, Halloween Resurrection, or even like the Rob Zombie films, because you know he did two of them, none of those didn't happen at all. Now I'm kind of okay with that. When they announced they was going to be doing that in the beginning, I was kind of okay with it, you know, because Michael Myers, the character himself, has become like, you know, like a legendary like horror icon, you know. So they would actually have to find a way to keep him going, you know. So you could see this being kind of similar to like say Dracula, like, you know, Frankenstein, Wolfman type, you know, horror characters. You know, they had to keep these going, you know. So I think it's kind of cool that they actually are establishing like a choose your own way to go with like these movies, you know, because like with this Halloween film, this new one, this actually is 40 years after the original 1978 film, but you actually have like you can actually do it this way. You can actually go back and watch the original Halloween and choose to go the original route where they went with Part 2, you know, where it turns out that Laurie Strode, you know, who's played by Jamie Lee Curtis, you know, and Michael Myers are actually brother and sister, you know, and they actually went all the way to like the curse of Michael Myers. Like you can actually go back that route if you want to, or you can do like Halloween 1, then Halloween 2 from 1981, then choose to go the H2O route, you know, which actually made like Part 3, 4, 5, and the curse of Michael Myers didn't happen at all either, you know. It just went straight from Part 1 to 2, then to H2O, you know, then Resurrection. You can go that route. Or you can just do the straight up Rob Zombie like remake, you know, like he had two films, you can just do like his remake, and then his second one, you know. I think that's kind of cool that you have like these different like alternate routes that you can go with the franchise. I like that you have like four like different like alternate ways you can actually take the series if you want, you know. You actually can start with the first film and go on, like I said, it's like Halloween 2, you know, from 1981, you know, which established that Laurie Strode and Michael Myers were brother and sister, you know. And so I'm not going to keep on like talking about it, you know. I thought the film had some awesome kills in it too as well, like some of like the killing sequences were pretty cool, like when Michael's like killing people and so on, especially like the one scene that you kind of saw in the trailer where he just go around killing a bunch of people, you know, on the streets and stuff. He'll go all to their houses and kill them, so I thought that was kind of cool, you know. And I like how they kind of established like the idea that he's still kind of like a mortal person, he's not supernatural too, as well, so I think that was kind of cool, you know. And I thought Jamie Lee Curtis was really good in her role as Laurie Strode. I feel like Will Patton's character, you know, he was there, you know, a lot, you know, but I feel like it wasn't really like no need for that particular character, like the sheriff that he played, you know, who was helping Laurie track him down. I didn't really think that he really stood out that well, you know. Overall, in the end, this film did have like some flaws. Like I say, some of the stuff that they had going on in the film, I felt like could actually just ruin the film completely, you know. But it turns out that it was actually okay, you know. And I believe if I watched it again, you know, I probably go to enjoy it a little more, you know. But then I'm giving Halloween, I'm giving this a B minus. And I kind of want to give it a C, but like I said, it was still like, better than that. It wasn't overly good and it wasn't like overly bad. So I'm just giving this a B minus. I would definitely recommend it for like fans like this film, like the Halloween series or Michael Myers in general. I definitely recommend it for that crowd. So that's my review for Halloween, which I'm giving a B minus. Please leave a comment and subscribe to it as well.